Welcome to Beyond a Happy Marriage. I'm Arcadius.
And I'm Monica.
If you are striving for something deeper than just a happy marriage,
if you want a relationship that's truly transformative, that leads to intentional living,
then this podcast is for you.
We are absolutely delighted to bring our conversations to English-speaking couples around the world. The question I get asked most often isn't, does fasting work? Or how long should I fast? The question is this, I'm trying to get pregnant. Is fasting safe? And underneath that question is fear, real, legitimate fear. Because maybe you've already been trying for months, maybe years, maybe you've had losses, maybe your cycles are irregular, and you're desperate to do something, anything that might help. But you're also terrified of doing the wrong thing, of making it worse. I understand that fear intimately, because I lived in it for 10 years. So today, I'm going to answer this question with complete honesty. Not with easy reassurances, not with guarantees I can't make, but with research, with nuance, and with what I learned through my own journey from PCOS and infertility to 2 healthy pregnancies. Here's the truth up front. Fasting can help fertility for some women. It can hurt fertility for others. And the difference comes down to understanding your body, your situation, and approaching this with wisdom rather than desperation. So, let's dive in. First, let me tell you what the research actually shows, and more importantly, what it doesn't show. Several studies have looked at fasting and reproductive health. Here's what they found. In Study 1, the Chinese PCOS study, 15 women with PCOS who hadn't ovulated in months tried time-restricted eating from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. That was the eating window, and they tried it for 5 weeks. The results were 73% of them got their periods back. Their insulin resistance dropped significantly, and some started ovulating again. In another study, this time it was Iranian research, on 90 women with PCOS, they tried either time-restricted eating or regular calorie restriction for several months. The results were both groups saw improvements. The fasting group had similar benefits to the calorie restriction group, and about 33 to 40% saw menstrual cycles normalize. Right. And in the final study, this time it was on lean women study, but women who were already normal weight, and they tried eating a big breakfast and a small dinner. There was no fasting at all. The results were that 50% of them had increase in ovulation, 50% reduction in testosterone, and better insulin sensitivity. This sounds promising, right? But here is what's missing from these studies, and this is quite critical for us. None of them measured pregnancy rates. Not one study tracked whether women actually got pregnant, not one measured time to conception, and not one looked at live birth rates. So when you ask me, will fasting help me get pregnant? The honest answer is, we don't know yet. The research hasn't been done. But what we do know is that fasting can help improve insulin sensitivity, which is good for ovulation, lower excessive androgens, which is good for egg quality, and help regulate cycles. And that's quite key for timing the intercourse. And logically, these improvements should help fertility. But we make an assumption. It's quite a reasonable assumption, but still an assumption. Now let me tell you about research that makes me cautious. Some studies on calorie restriction in women show that when women restrict calories too much, periods can stop completely. Even moderate restriction can disrupt ovulation without you realizing it. Especially in women with BMI under 25, they are particularly vulnerable. Stress hormone, do you remember the cortisol? It can spike with fasting, and that can disrupt fertility. There is a condition called hypothalamic amenorrhea. That's when your brain shuts down your cycle because your body thinks you're starving. And this can happen with fasting that is too aggressive, or eating too few calories overall, or combining fasting with intense exercise. So being underweight or losing weight too quickly, that can affect it. And that's the scary part. You can lose the ability to ovulate without losing your period. So your cycle might still come every month, but you're not actually releasing an egg. We call these anovulatory cycles. Bleeding without ovulation. And this is why blanket advice like everyone should fast 16 to 8 hours is very dangerous for women trying to conceive. So let's get specific, because this isn't one size fits all. So if you're overweight with PCOS and insulin resistance, if your BMI is over like 25 to 30 and you have high fasting insulin because you've done some diagnostic tests and you know it, you've got irregular cycles, sometimes longer than even 40 days, and you've got signs of high androgens, so acne or excessive hair on face, conservative fasting, which is the fasting for about 12 to 14 hours, combined with whole foods diet, might improve your fertility. It can do it by, again, lowering your insulin, reducing those androgens, and supporting modest weight loss, about 5 to 10%, not too much. If your cycles are very irregular, more than 45 days, so you're not ovulating regularly anyway, gentle fasting might help you reset your metabolism and improve your cycle regularity. But some women should be very careful or avoid fasting at all. And those women are lean women with BMI under 25, 24. Lean women bodies are more sensitive to calorie restriction. Your fertility can shut down more easily if you're lean. You should consider something more like front-loading calories, so eating big breakfast and small dinner instead of fasting. Or if you decide fasting, don't do it for longer than 12 hours, just overnight fasting. And focus more on what you eat rather than when you eat. And if some of you may have history of that hypothalamic amenorrhea, so if you've ever lost your period from previously under-eating or over-exercising, stress, or rapidly losing weight, your body has shown it's sensitive to restriction. So fasting could trigger the same response. So if you're already ovulating regularly, if your cycles are within the norm, 26 to 35 days, and you're ovulating because has been confirmed by basal body temperature or maybe progesterone blood test, you don't have to fix anything. So don't fix what isn't broken. Fasting might help insulin resistance or inflammation, but if you're ovulating and it's working fine, aggressive fasting could disrupt it. Another reason not to fast is if you're actively doing fertility treatments. They require careful nutrition timing and stable hormones. So this isn't the time to experiment with fasting, especially without your doctor's explicit approval. Another reason not to fast is if you're very stressed or you sleep poorly. Fasting is a stressor. So if you're already overwhelmed at work, you've got relationship stress, financial stress, or like chronic insomnia, adding fasting stress might push your body over the edge. So the stress hormone cortisol can shut down your ovulation completely. So fasting in a stressed state can raise cortisol even more. And a final reason not to fast is if you have a history of eating disorders. Please don't fast if you had it. The risk of triggering disordered eating patterns is too high. Your mental health matters more than any fertility intervention. So who did I fall in this? What I learned during my years of infertility and struggles to conceive was that fertility isn't about one magic intervention. It's about creating conditions where your body can work properly. And that means balanced insulin, reduced inflammation, having regular ovulation and good egg quality, having this progesterone, adequate progesterone every cycle, low stress as much as possible, and have faith and patience. Fasting helped me with insulin and inflammation. But it was one piece of a bigger picture that included natural family planning, so having this fertility awareness, prayer, supplements, stress management, and ultimately trusting God's timing. So if you're trying to conceive and consider fasting, here is exactly what I'd recommend. Step 1. First of all, talk to your doctor first. I know you want to take control sometimes. I know you're tired of waiting, but please talk to a doctor who understands both fasting and fertility. Ideally, a reproductive endocrinologist or OBGYN who works with PCOS patients. Show them your plan, get the input, make sure there are no red flags in your specific situation. Step 2. Get some baseline testing, and probably your doctor will prescribe it anyway. So before you start, know where you stand. Are you ovulating? You can check your progesterone on, let's say, day 21 of your cycle, or you can just simply track your basal body temperature for 3 months and see whether you've got this thermal shift. What's your insulin sensitivity? Have you done, your fasting insulin? What's your thyroid function like? You can do various tests to diagnose it. And what's your AMH? This is a measure of ovarian reserve. So you need to know your starting point so you can track if fasting is helping or hurting. Another thing you can do is to start, if you really want to do fasting, you can start conservative fasting, which is just 12-hour overnight fast, which is quite simple. From 7 p.m. until 7 a.m. No food. Don't jump into 18-hour fast or alternate day fasting. You can do this conservative 12-hour overnight fast just for 2 weeks and see how you feel. Track your energy, mood, hunger, and sleep quality. And please try and track your cycle. How long is it? Have you got any signs of ovulation? Can you see any mucus changing? Any spotting? Then you can gradually increase your fasting window, extend it to maybe 13 hours for a week. If you feel that your energy is good, your sleep is good, you don't have any disruptions. But don't try more than 16 hours and only do it in specific phases. And that's quite important. Certain phases of your cycles can respond to fasting a lot better. So the follicular phase is very good for fasting. You can fast even until 16 hours in that phase. Your body can handle this metabolic stress. Focus on lowering that insulin to improve egg quality. But after your ovulation, when you go into luteal phase, don't fast for longer than 12 hours and eat during the day. Your body in that phase needs nutrients to support potential implantation. Progesterone, which is released in that phase, makes you hungrier and makes it hungrier for a reason. You need to listen to that signal. Eat more during that phase. Another step is eating more, but looking at the quality, the nutrition you give. So when you eat, try to include protein at every meal. Protein supports egg quality. Always include healthy fats. They support hormone production. Many of your hormones, steroid hormones, are based on fats. Include plenty of colorful vegetables, a rainbow of vegetables. They contain antioxidants, which help improve egg quality. And avoid inflammatory foods. So sugar, processed foods, and alcohol. Okay, if you're trying to conceive, avoid alcohol completely. Add supportive supplements, and I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. There is another podcast on PCOS in which I discuss lots of supplements from peer-reviewed articles. And another thing that you can do is to track ovulation carefully. So you need to know if fasting is helping or hurting ovulation. To do that, you actually need to measure certain things. You need to look at your cervical mucus, observe it, know when your fertility, the ovulation is approaching. Measure your basal body temperature every morning and see if you can determine this thermal shift in the middle of your cycle. You can use ovulation predictor kit if you want to assess the changes in your LH level. And you can also measure your blood progesterone after ovulation. Usually, if you have regular cycles, that's on about day 21. If ovulation becomes less clear, you should stop fasting immediately. You need to be very patient, but alert to any changes. Give your trial with fasting about 3 to 6 months to see if you benefit. But if within the first month you notice that your cycle, instead of improving, is becoming more irregular, you notice that your period stops, you just feel that you're always feeling exhausted, your mood is worsening, you have problems sleeping, that's a sign that you should stop fasting altogether. This is your body telling you it's just not working for you. It's not good for you. Okay? Before we close, I just need to say something that took me years to learn. Fertility isn't just about insulin levels and fasting protocols. Yes, those things matter. I'm a scientist and I believe in evidence-based interventions, but I also believe your fertility journey is about more than optimizing your body. It's about trust. Trusting that God's timing is not the same as your timing. Patience with your body, with the process, with yourself. And wisdom knowing when to push and when to rest. And hope, even when month after month the test is negative. And love for yourself, for your spouse, and for the children you dream of. During our 10 years, there were moments when I wanted to give up. But looking back now, with our 2 boys, I see that the journey shaped us. It taught us patience. It deepened our marriage. It made us rely on God in ways we never had before. So yes, you can try fasting if it makes sense for your body. But don't make it an obsession. Don't let it become another source of stress. Don't sacrifice your mental health, your marriage, or your peace for perfect adherence to a protocol. Because here is what I know for certain. Your worth is not determined by your fertility. Your body is not broken just because pregnancy hasn't happened yet. And God's plan for your fertility, for your family, whatever it looks like, can still be beautiful. Thank you for trusting me with this deeply personal topic. If you'd like more resources, you can visit our website at natprofam.com for various blogs on fertility, marriage, health, and just life in general. Thank you for being here. May God bless your journey, wherever it leads.